Yeah, Ethan, have you ever heard of the Three Christ of Ypsilanti? You know about that?
No, what is that?
There was a movie that came out a couple years ago. It was like a you know,
Peter Dinklage.
yeah,
Is
Peter
in it?
Dinklage was in it. Do you know the premise
It's
of
like the
it?
psychological experiment where they had like three guys that think that they're Jesus,
Yes.
right? Is
Yeah.
that what it
Yeah.
is?
It's like a completely
Okay.
unethical thing to do where you just put them all in the room together, just like, what if? What would happen, right?
Uh-huh.
So I want a version of that, but what you do is you take Matt Fraction, Matt Pizzolo,
Mm-hmm.
and Matthew Hess, and you put them all in one
Oh no.
room, and you ask them what makes a
Honestly,
good comic book.
I could see Matt Fraction and Matt Pizzolo being homies. Like they give
Yeah,
me
yeah.
kind of similar vibes. Like Matt Fraction's got that like late Gen X, early millennial kind of edge, punkness to him, and like Pizzolo's definitely in that camp for sure.
That's what makes it funnier is because the two of them are having a normal conversation about comic books, and Matthew Hess from Foreskin Man just keeps trying to jump in and saying weird shit.
Let me pitch you an idea right now. It's a man who protects foreskins of children.
I feel like Matt Fraction is very nice. There's something about in the best way. Matt probably not, but I feel like Matt Pizzolo maybe has been in a fight or two, you know? I would believe that he had been in a fight.
Absolutely.
So yeah, did this cure you? Did this cure you from Foreskin Man?
I mean, yes, it was definitely a bit of a palate cleanser for sure.
Yeah.
Something
yeah,
that
yeah.
like a man and a comic that I definitely like a lot more.
Yeah. Nothing evil yet that we know of.
I mean, only within the pages of Godkiller.
And that's what we'll be talking about today. This is Tales from the Gutter. We're back. We know that you missed us. We're here. The sun is shining. Ethan's hair is slicked back, looking like a real piece of shit today.
Slick back.
Hell yeah.
Slick back.
And yeah, that's what we're gonna cover. We're gonna cover Matt Pizzolo's work, Godkiller, Walk Among Us, illustrated by Anna Muckcracker Waziski Wyzik.
Wychezik? Wychick?
Probably Wychick.
Polish names are always the hardest to read, honestly.
It's not.
Oh, I think I cracked the code too.
For
so
Muckcracker?
we were talking about this. Yeah, so I think Muckcracker is just her maiden name and she got divorced. That is like the simplest explanation because like she just goes to Muckcracker afterwards. I don't think it's a pen name or anything. I could not find anywhere that it was in quotations, but
yes, I had a pet theory that I thought would be really funny. That was like her way to ingratiate herself, like into like the group she was hanging out with. She was like, "Hey man, I'm just a Muckcracker." If you look up Muckcracker, if you just look up the word Muckcracker in quotation marks, the only return you're gonna get on Google is this woman. Like, yeah. I don't know. We'll just have to. We'll never know. It'll stay a mystery. It's that, and a lot of people who just accidentally wrote Muckcracker instead of what it's actually supposed to be, Muckcracker. Anyway, yes. All right. This was originally published in 2009, maybe. This is part of an ongoing series. Its most recent update was Godkiller, Volume 5. For those I love, I will sacrifice. The titles get more and more like strange as it goes along. That was probably published in 2022. The publisher's website assures us that Volume 6, The Color You Took from Her Eyes, will be coming out in 2025. So he's got 2 weeks, and we'll see if they update the website. Or maybe it'll drop a Christmas present. In case you hadn't noticed from that last paragraph, this comic was a little bit difficult to research. Reason for that, it's a perfect storm. Our comic writer is very hustle heavy. He's got a strong multimedia bent to this work, both of which we will get into now. Starting with our prolific penman, Mr. Matt Pizzolo. Ethan, we've talked about it back and forth, like, who is this guy? Like, what's his vibe? Because at the end of the day, what the podcast is we're basically just going back and forth. Like, do we like this guy? Is he cool? Is he cool?
Judging someone solely on their internet presence and work of and comic book work. Yeah. Honestly, I think he seems like a chill dude. He passes the test.
Just to reinforce. We can decide right now if he's a cool guy or not. Reinforce your impressions here. I want to do a quick list of his accomplishments, and you can tell me if he is at, above, or below the bar for typical LA comic guy. These will be rated from mid to based. All of these facts are specifically catered to Ethan. Ethan, are you ready?
Yes. I have a feeling that they're all going to be pretty based, but we'll see.
No, I threw some in there. I threw some in there that I think you wouldn't give a shit about. See if you can find them. All right. Our boy has shot an independent, zero-budget movie at age 21 that received this review. Films like La Haine, Menace to Society, or Fight Club also portray people raging against the machine, but they ultimately show that violence doesn't solve anything, whereas Matt Pizzolo's flick openly glorifies murderous revolt, literally telling the audience to go out and beat up random people just because.
Based.
Hell yeah.
This is his movie, Threat, right? It was called Threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you look at any clips?
Like urban. No, I saw like the poster or whatever.
It was like
seems very like.
It was like Clerks.
Kids.
Skins Clerks, but kind of with like a cool, like fucking anarchist bent to it. A lot of like guys sitting around and giving each other like profound, unprofound life advice and shit like that. But yeah, zero budget, 21, fucking just shot it on the streets. Started a DIY fest that was an early proponent of alt porn as independent media.
Yes, based. Also, I saw with that, I think we'll talk about it more, but like his film company, I think, produced something with. This might be that.
Wait! God damn it! Wait, chill.
Okay.
Hold on. Next, he has been an Amazon #1 best-selling author, named Wired Magazine's world's most wired comic creator, and has appeared on CNN, NPR, and Fox News.
Yeah, mid.
Okay, there you go. Next, created a multimedia horror movie trivia / full-length slasher film called Slumber Party Slaughterhouse: The Game, working alongside with highly regarded multidisciplinary performer / director Joanna Angel.
Hell yeah, based. Dude, I love Joanna Angel. I met her. I was in a pornography class in college, which is probably why I like this guy a lot. But like, I met Joanna Angel, and she was my capstone project for that class, was like interviewing her and like doing research on her. Dope ass lady.
That's so fucking cool. Dude, if you had this pool at that time, that would have been sick as fuck, dude. I want to ask her about this fucking movie. I want to get my hands on a copy. Shot a music video, or maybe not shot. I think he kind of was doing some of this mixed media stuff that we'll talk about later for Atari Teenage Riot. You know them?
Oh, okay, cool. Based.
Yeah, based. I mean, I don't know much about him, but it's cool. Created an indie movie studio that early on produced the, quote, controversial and embattled animal rights doc, Your Mommy Kills Animals, which, although widely praised for its unbiased approach, drew the ire of Washington lobbying firm Center for Consumer Freedom, which waged a costly legal campaign to try to block the release of the film.
All right, based.
Created an illustrated comic book film, which we will discuss, that included the voice of Lance Henriksen, the guy who played Bishop in Alien 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the last...
Also fucking, we'll talk about it later more too, but fucking Lydia Lunch, classic like punk. She's like an old school fucking punk ass, like she's just part of the...
Oh, shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah. She was she was in AFI? What was she in? What fucking band was she a part
of? Queen of Siam.
Yeah.
Bad Moon Rising, I don't know. That's cool. Hey, she's still out here, dude. We can go see her.
Hell yeah, fucking Lunch.
The last one.
She was a Teenage Jesus and the Jerks. That's something.
Yeah. Oh well, did you see her in the 1986 film Fingered? She was great in Fingered.
I did not.
You didn't see
maybe
her
I
in
will
Fingered?
now.
And stay home, throwing some Fingered. The last one is moved from Long Island to Los Angeles.
Yes, mid. That is mid. the most basic LA in creative industry person move in the history of ever. Is being a fucking East Coast transplant in LA.
Yeah. If you gotta do it, I feel like he is a best case scenario, you know?
Yeah, honestly. No, we'll talk about it later, but this dude is reading that stuff, right? Like, we talked about this before, like, looking into him, I was a little wary at first, because I was like, oh, is this just, kind of your, I don't know, run-of-the-mill, independent creative who's, labeled as, revolutionary, who's just doing kind of, lukewarm stuff, but he's really about really about the shit, and with everything from his creative work to activism, community organizing, he's about LA and a lot of issues that matter and stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't. So, he hasn't put out stuff every fucking month. At some point, the trail goes cold, so to speak. But he is. We'll talk about it later. He is still a CEO of this comic production company. And anytime you see him in any interviews or anything like that, he puts his money where his fucking mouth is. He's into the shit, and he backs it up pretty often. It's very cool to see.
Yeah, he's a real one. And we dropped it a little bit before too, but he is the embodiment of modern I guess punk attitudes and comics. So I do want to talk a little bit about the crossover between punk culture and stuff and comic books, because punk shit and comic book shit go together like anti-establishment peanut butter and counterculture jelly, right? We talk a lot about how comics live in this liminal space between mainstream pop culture and more outsider art. As with all other art forms, any one comic will fall somewhere on the spectrum between Spider-Man swinging through the New York City skyline and R. Crumb's love of a very large woman.
There are two wolves in every comic.
Comic culture and punk rock. Exactly. Comic culture and punk rock share an intersecting history, from the DIY subculture surrounding punk bands in the 70s to even now, the whole Superman 2025 talking about how kindness is the real punk rock thing, right? Pizzolo's career and his approach to the comic industry falls in line with the legacy of independent creators foregoing traditional corporate lanes to carve out a space that reflects their own unique worldview, right? And I think this dude and his company Black Mask Studios, his comic publisher, really, like you said, put their money where their mouth is and really step up for shit. And in the heyday of punk, the crossover between illustrators and cartoonists into the music space was ever present. There were independent zines like Wet and Punk, and the whole do-it-yourself like ethos was more than an aesthetic. It was a full-on like lifestyle and like creative fucking philosophy. People like Matt Groening from Simpsons, right? Got his start like showcasing comics, and then like entire like familial lineages of creators like the Hernandezes were doing stuff like Love and Rockets, and that was all born from the same like punk DIY subculture. And then now Pizzolo carries that spirit into his formation of, like you said, Halo 8, his independent movie company, and Black Mask Studios with comics, and both of which keep punk alive and well through their DIY approach and their effort to highlight the like issues and perspectives of marginalized people and like social commentary and stuff that's going on today. Yeah. Right.
I think you wrote something a little bit later. If you want to talk about it now a little bit, the submission page for Black Mask, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not accepting submissions anymore. I think their most recent, like the last time that was live, it was like 2023. But like they're kind of they're pushed to really incorporate diverse voices and things like that. Is like they put it at the forefront of everything they do, and they have a super diverse team of creators, and their whole even their submission page has like a couple sections where it's asked like, why is your story like an expression of your own like background or culture, and like why are you the person that should tell this story, which is really cool. And I think it means a lot that it's like actually part of the consideration in an industry which is very like white straight man.
We have only covered white male art providers so far. We're trying not to. We're getting obviously not trying hard enough. We'll just leave it there for now.
Pizzolo, I will say I'll give him the ally badge. He's about it. He's about the shit.
Hell yeah. Okay, this is our first ally. We're getting there.
I think I could imagine Ted McKeever being an ally. I think I mean fucking Kirkman's pretty progressive dude. Like
for Kentucky guy.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about like Pizzolo's background and like the beginning of like this comic. So Pizzolo, his like punk cred starts in his teenage years. He gets arrested for graffiti and he's kicked out of school. So he's forced to stay home, and he spends all of that time reading comics and watching movies. And then this trend continues after he's kicked out of NYU for his beef with famed academic Neil Postman, which like, as a film school guy, like that is so fucking funny, because like Neil Postman is like one of the big like in modern like academia shit, like he's one of the big like cultural critics and stuff like that. I just love the idea of like just this young ass fucking Matt Pizzolo I'm just beefing with Neil Postman. I think that's so funny. And then so from that he starts working at a comic store, and like Robert Kirkman, he observes the trends of the comic industry. And nowadays, being like quote unquote disruptor usually conjures up the image of some quarter zip tech bro who frames his Chat GPT rap alt-right dating app as a revolution in technology. But for Pizzolo, his team during the 2000s, they were more in line with the true origins of the label, like trying to rethink the bounds of comics, film, and music, and like how all of those things can like intersect, right? So in a quote from, like you had mentioned earlier, the most wired comic creator 2012, Pizzolo says that the comic book industry was built on a mix of bad deals wrought by crooked publishers and an aging audience more likely to discuss would Hulk win or Batman win in a fight during a funeral than at a party. Now that the lion's share of the 20th century's pop cultural capital has been consolidated into the intellectual property libraries of 2 Hollywood studios, it's time to wipe the slate clean and rebuild comics from scratch. New ideas, innovations, business models, blood, and modes of storytelling. Which
everybody's got a screed.
I mean, it's a cool puff piece, and he was getting a lot of like attention at the time, but like he really does like try to do a lot of shit. Like he's a really ambitious guy, and like he does hustle for stuff.
Mm.
And the same goes with Godkiller, because this is his first comic, so he borrowed from like his experiences and like networks and like the hardcore music scene and indie filmmaking to launch Godkiller in like 2008 2009, right? And he even produces the film companion piece a couple years later. And Godkiller gains kind of a underground cult following a little bit, and that's what kind of pushes him into the comic space. And the Godkiller, I think the version that we got our hands on was like a reprint in 2014 2015, once like Black Mask is established and he has his own publishing line. So a little bit about Black Mask. It's formed in the early 2010s with Steve Niles from 30 Days a Night. Have you ever read 30 Days a Night?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's sick. The movie's dope too. I like
Yeah,
the movie a
yeah.
lot.
It makes
then-
sense. Like the aesthetics of that very first 30 days is very much like the
Definitely.
aesthetic of the first issue for this one. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so Steve Niles, Matt Pizzolo, and then Brett Gurewitz, who's the fucking guitarist for Bad Religion, which is sick.
Hell
like
yeah.
another, like punk music, comics crossover thing. And we'll talk more about Black Mask later, but fun fact is that Pizzolo and Gurewitz connected through their wives who are in the same prenatal yoga class, which is the most fucking LA shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's the
but
best place for networking.
Exactly, I guess so, apparently. But yeah, the world of Godkiller, like you said, it's revisited over the years in the volumes, 5 or 6 now, right? It's and it's interesting to see how he's grown as like a businessman and creator while still coming back to the Godkiller universe. It's kind of a weird mix of the like Robert Kirkman business sense and like Ted McKeever punk attitude stuff. I think Pizzolo's work on Godkiller serves as a good touchstone for following kind of a different strain of independent comic culture, something more outside, because like Image still is very mainstream, I guess you could say, but like Black Mask is really its own thing, and it's all, and it is making waves in the industry in a way that is it's really cool to see.
Do you remember when we talked about kitchen sink comics? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember like the thing that could
We
have
haven't
been its own,
talked
like...
about it yet because we haven't recorded it yet.
Okay, all right, independently, not in an episode
Yes.
that we may have accidentally deleted, but we were having a beer one day. We were talking about kitchen sink comics. You remember how fucking trashy it got at the end, like all the litigation and all like the
Yes.
crazy stuff. I feel like Black Mask is one of those things where it's like you could, if it exists somewhere, if someone can do. They kind of have the same philosophy as Kitchen Sink, right? Like they're kind of just making crazy comics and get them out into the world. He's keeping the lights on. Like it's been a decade, right? Like it's been out a long time. Like a bunch of successful titles. We'll see if in a couple years it's like, okay, actually they're in the black the entire time or whatever. But it's another one of those things where it's like, okay, if you can do it and pull it off and make it successful, you make those other guys look bad. Like you don't have to be crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing too. I do want to like preface this by saying like I really think this is a publisher to look out for, like in terms of it's always kind of hard to like check out like new publishers sometimes if you're not just going like based off like the cover or something like that. But like Black Mask has like a lot of really talented people working there, and I think this is like Godkiller's cool because like something like Battle Pope, it's kind of the impetus for this whole like movement kind of in this very like punk rock DIY lane. So let's get into the first 7-issue arc of Godkiller. This is Walk Among Us, right? So the overall kind of like world this takes place in it's like an alternate present day for when it came out, which is like 2008, 2009. Between the first couple like pages here, right? And then like the actual story, there's a time skip. right? Because like this first
Yeah, yeah.
this
The
first
bomb.
bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like maybe like I guess it would be present day now, 2025, but in an alternate universe, this is after like an alien invasion and a war. Humanity lives
Yeah.
in this like biopunk dystopia full of blood, guts, rusted metal, gas
Yeah.
masks, and
Yeah.
sick ass leather dusters.
Things are kind
Yeah.
of magic now. It's yeah. Well, it's
hmm
not my favorite thing about it. Honestly, they're not very clear on like what like why are things magic now? Like what kind of world is this? A lot is just kind of left up for you to you know just decide for yourself. Where the
Yeah.
lines are.
And that's one thing too in the setup is to say that this is a very ambitious book for like a first thing you do. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of ideas in here. There's a lot of cool shit going on. We'll talk about whether or not we think it works later on,
Pulls it off.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a big fucking swing here. So the first issue begins with a scene where it wouldn't really be a punk comic if there wasn't some like protest action / domestic terrorism off rip. So we open like all high concept stories with a voiceover paired with a very out of context tone setter. For Godkiller, it's the voiceover of Dr. Mulciber, one of our main protagonists, as a building is blown up with a suitcase bomb, reorganizing the New York skyline. And Mulciber poses an answer to the question, how do you kill a god? With non servium, I will not serve, which is kind of the mantra of one of the main kind of groups in this story, as well as kind of like the overarching kind of themes of like anti-establishment, like revolution stuff. And from the fallout of the explosion, we get like a front page of the New York Post, which I thought was funny, stating that Star Killer strikes NYC. And then we get this photo of a hooded figure decked out in some like sick resistance logos.
Yeah.
And this Star Killer guy is gonna be kind of like one of the like characters haunting the narrative, at least of this first arc, right? And it ties in a lot later on.
Yeah, that thread, the Star Killer, whether or not he's a real person or not, is one of many bits of lore that's vaguely addressed, peppered throughout the book, hinting at some larger, ambitious, possibly too ambitious, overarching, the lore. I think somewhere. Probably around 5 or 6, I think maybe we can pull back and talk about what we think is going on. If you guys listening along, maybe you'll have a completely different conclusion. I do like any comic or any story where you get well into it and you go, okay, like here's what happened in the past. And I think that's cool, but it's still. In so many ways, it's not quite enough. It's not quite enough, but it is still very cool.
Yeah. In terms of the lore stuff, we're gonna do our best, like setting it up and everything. But a lot of it is vague and also like over-explained in the like like at the same time.
Yeah, don't blame us.
But yeah, like so off of this first like couple pages, I do want to like shout out the artist. Anna Muckcracker, Wychick, right? She does a lot of cool stuff in this book. There's a lot of like mixing like real photos, collage on top of with her. She has a very like distinct style, I think.
Yeah, pencil.
It reminds me like the way she draws like people and stuff reminds me a lot of the like Aeon Flux animation, if anybody's ever seen that. Just very like
scratchy,
hard lines. Yeah, but then like her line work is scratchy. It's kind of all over the place. It fits tonally with this like DIY grimy aesthetic, especially in this world where everything's kind of like mashed together. Even the people are all like half of them are all fucked up and stitched up and stuff like that. And I think it complements the story and the world and the tone well. I will say it's a little bit inconsistent at times, but this is a very like DIY thing.
It changes throughout the entire run, and I think overall for the worst. You can look up the artist. She's still working right now. She has gotten better and better. The stuff she's doing now is very eye catching, very soft. It's always kind of not soft exactly. It's like it's a little sensual, like, and we'll see a little bit of that. Sensual is not maybe the right word, but yeah, no, she's gotten better and better. But there's a mixed media thing that's happening in the first comic that slowly becomes less and less part of it. She moves from scratchy pencil marks with like a real life gas mask posted into it at the beginning, and as things goes along, I think she just goes to like digital stencil, probably saving herself a ton of time. But I think this first issue is definitely has the most time and love put into it. It seems like.
Yeah, and like it's kind of cool too, like with the whole like it coming out in like the late aughts, the whole like this is digital's here, but it's still kind of like primitive a little bit, you know. They're still like working out, like especially at like the consumer like indie DIY level, like people are experimenting with a lot of different things, and I think it's really cool to see in this book. But yeah, overall, like the designs are really dope. We'll talk about them as they come up, but like everybody's got sick gas masks. Everybody's got some popped collar fucking trench coats and shit. Like,
where's your duster, cool. Bro?
Exactly. But from here, we meet Mulciber on his way to a brothel to get his dick sucked, because that's how he activates his magic powers. I tried to think of a funny way to write that, but I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah, we're just, I mean, we're jumping right into it with that.
Yeah,
that's the type of world that we're living in. There are wizards with powers who can only activate their powers like when they get their dick sucked, like that.
But
there's
it's
probably
only him.
nothing. But it's only him. It is only him. Well, there's that one girl, but that may or may not even be real. We also may be living in a world where people just say that and it's not true. They just have magic powers and they've managed to convince everyone that they have to get their dick sucked. He's an old man, and every time he talks about it, he's like, such is the horrible price I must pay for my dark gift. Everyone just calls him a gross old pervert. And as far as we know, he maybe is. I don't know. That's the comic as it's written.
His introduction is him like taking off his gas mask with the voiceover, like philosophizing about like the war that's happened in the past, the whole holy war, and like the price of his powers as he walks into this fucking
a brothel
to get a BJ. He's literally like, I'm like, he says it. He's like, I'm part of a magic order of superpowered resistance priests, and everybody else thinks I'm weird for this, but fuck it, like. I gotta do it. Like this is the only way I can activate my powers. Damn, and so speaking of indulgences of the flesh, Mulciber's like Girl Friday is like a David Ayers Suicide Squad Harley Quinn-esque sex worker named Halfpipe.
Yeah,
and we meet her after she's had a run-in with the madam of this brothel, whose name is Pizzolo, and she's like Cutter. And this is like the first kind of like glimpse we see of like kind of the way this world works, because like Halfpipe is like stitching herself up after she's been cut. She's making some joke about how she can make more money as like a gimmick thing if she's all stitched up or something, you know. And Mulciber gives Halfpipe and Halfpipe's like partner Angel Fuck, which is
her name. That is her name.
Yeah, which is it is very punk in its lack of subtlety, which is fine. And Mulciber brings him a bag of blood as a gift, which is kind of another hint, less of a hint, but like one of the many random lore drops that the economy of this world runs on fresh blood and organs,
good blood,
in a very like repo the genetic opera kind of way. I think this comic really reminded me of that and like stuff like that.
My grandma lived in Guam for a little bit because my granddad was stationed there, and every time she talks about it, she talks about the blood in the grocery stores, and she makes it sound almost exactly like they were living in this world.
God.
You couldn't even get milk. But you could get a jug of blood. She told me that story 3 days ago. I'm not even kidding.
God, love that for her. So Mulciber gets holy head, and it triggers a vision, just as
he's also smiling big. That's another thing. Look at him fucking cheesing, dude. Like,
he's having way too much fun for how much he like talks about how it's such a horrible price to pay for his magic powers.
When was the last time you got head so good that you started sweating, like just pouring down his head?
If people haven't noticed by now, this comic is very like exploitative in a way. It's very like grindhouse nasty. I will put in like a little bit like a trigger warning now. There's a lot of sexual violence. There's a lot of like violence. There's violence and sexual violence against children. That made this comic in general kind of difficult for me. But I don't know. It's whatever. Like
I don't know. It doesn't help. What else can you say?
Much.
It's fine. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't know if it serves much of a purpose in the story. I don't know. Yeah, it's like he's made a very sexual in the world. Yeah. Doesn't really go anywhere with it. It's like, what are we doing with this? Like, it's there to kind of be there.
Yeah, it doesn't have much to say except for like this world is dark and edgy and everybody's all fucked up. Everything's all fucked up. Like, but Mulciber gets blown, has a vision right as the brothel is attacked by Dragos, who is this descendant of a line of like demon flavored like reptilian aliens that rule this world. And Halfpipe and Angelfuck escape through a vent, and Mulciber uses his Goonermancy to hold off like the encroaching raid. And then Mulciber's departing words to Halfpipe from the vision are, "Don't let her kill the boy." Right? And then they escape. Dragos is there looking for Pizzolo, the madam of this brothel, who's stolen the MacGuffin of the story, which is this like glowing green cube thing. He gets it back all while showing off his like blatant disregard for human life by like slicing and dicing people, and his primary weapon of choice is a demon tail. Is it a tail or is it actually just his dick?
That is his cock.
It shoots out.
He has an evil demon cock, dude.
It's like a razor, like it's like a knife cock thing. we're like 3 for 3 in this podcast for like penis based like things. Like, I think we're gonna like.
I wonder how he would feel. Honestly, this is a man in need of a circumcision for sure. It'd be a safer world.
Absolutely. So then from there we cut to our audience surrogate and our main protag, who is Tommy. He's a little emo boy straight out of a My Chemical Romance music video.
Yes.
He lives in an orphanage/hospital thing where his sister is in dire need of a new heart. And he's obsessed with this order called the Burnt. It's this arcane organization that's featured in comic books in this world, but it's based on like this real thing from history, from this like holy war that's happened. And we meet him as he burns his face with an iron to kind of like signify his devotion to the Burnt, which sets off a smoke alarm and leads him to the office of Dr. West, the head of this hospital/orphanage thing. Yeah. And he gets a stern talking to from this obviously morally corrupt and apathetic authority figure, as every punk comic needs, right?
I think I this is another one of those things where I don't know. It can just be a little bit of lore and you leave it there, or like you could get into it. Like, where do these come from? it's kind of a meta thing. He knows about the Order of the Burnt and the outside world because they're all kind of separated from the like the post-apocalyptic wasteland. He knows about it because of these comic books. So it's like he's learning about the rebellion and he's learning about how to fight authority through a comic book within the comic, which I feel like is a little bit of a meta thing. But it's not a thread that he pulls on at all. It's just there. I don't know who the fuck is publishing these. It's just he's got them.
Yeah. And I will point out too, like, so Tommy and this orphanage are in Silver City, like the main city, and then everything else, most of the story takes place in the outer city, which is, like you said, this like post-apocalyptic, like dangerous, like wasteland kind of thing, right? So after this talk with Dr. West, where Dr. West basically tells him, like, you don't know shit about life, like, da-da-da-da-da, Tommy breaks into the file room at night and finds out that Dr. West is planning on letting his sister Lucy die so that they can resell Lucy's organs, right? And then the comic ends with Dr. West coming into the office as Tommy's going through everything, and he's got with him Angel Fuck and Half Pipe.
Half Pipe.
Right? So the
a lot in one issue.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Like the first issue and the third are both like over 40 pages long, and then the second issue is like the normal like 20-ish, right?
Yeah.
The issue 2 is pretty plot light, with most of the time being spent just showing how fucked up and horny this world is. We pick up right where the last one leaves off, right? Tommy has to hide under a desk as West and the women start fucking in the office. Cue an almost like 4-page long cuck scene where it's just Half Pipe and Angel Fuck like making out, and then Half Pipe eating out Angel Fuck as a distraction. Wow,
it's about half the comic actually.
Yeah, it literally is. And then we also get this weird shot of like Tommy's hiding under the desk, hearing them fuck, and then his cheeks are getting all red, and he's
sweating, dude. He's sweating.
We see fucking Dr. West in the room, and he's like, cheeks are all wet. Right? I don't know.
Cheeks
like,
all wet. Yeah.
I get it. It's supposed to be like sensationalist and like kind of like whoa crazy and like gnarly and stuff, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I could have. Just maybe half of this is fine. Half of this, and you still would have been like, oh, okay, that's a lot. But there was a reason. Yeah. There was a reason for all this. There's a reason for all that.
Exactly. So, as with everything in this comic, sex and violence go hand in hand, and the two ladies of the night kill West to harvest his organs, right?
Yeah,
and
because
Angel Fuck turns into this like demon-ish, like she has like kind of like a demon form,
razor
kind
teeth
of a thing.
Yeah. She goes Super Saiyan for 2 seconds.
Yeah. And
mode.
So Tommy exposes himself after they kill Dr. West, and he offers to help them escape, but then Angel Fuck beats him once he gives him the information they need, which is like kind of like a what is it called? I kick the dog. You know, it's just like, oh, Angel Fuck's a bad lady. These are Angel bad Fuck's people. Good, yeah. And then Half Pipe, remembering like Mulciber's like vision thing where he said, don't let her kill the boy. She covers for Tommy because they're talking about maybe they'll harvest his organs or whatever. And she like tastes his blood and says, oh, he's dirty because he's been like doing drugs or whatever.
He's been doing drugs.
Really before he had cut his finger to like put like a holy symbol on himself and like put an X on his dying sister with the blood, from like it's like a burnt thing or whatever. So they basically just leave him for dead, right? And the issue ends with so they leave him for dead, and the issue ends with Tommy waking up next to Dr. West's dead body and venturing out into the outer city. And in a sequence not unlike your mom's worst nightmare when you left for college, he's immediately stabbed and beaten by another different organ thief.
He's already holding his intestines together with one arm. Yeah. And this guy has the audacity.
Probably one of my favorite lines in this entire book is when he was previously hit by Angel Fuck, he's like, oh no, I'm gonna get hit. And then at the end of this comic, right before this other organ thief named Maggot is about to smack him, he says, okay, I'm going to get hit again, this time with nails. And like I thought that was a cool kind of like callback a little bit to like a couple pages before. And then the issue ends with like a white text blank page stinger, quote, nothing is true.
Nothing is true.
And then going into issue 3, the first is 40 plus pages, and this is the big one, I would say, for the trigger warning. Dedicates a good number of those 40 pages to some child rape. Tommy is not so serendipitously brought to the brothel where Halfpipe works, and after a little haggling between the brothel's middle management, Rose, and the organ thief, Maggot, Tommy gets stitched up and hung in a body bag. And here we meet Pizzolo, right? In true criminal executive fashion, she likes to get high on her own supply. And like most people and things in this comic, she's all fucked up, right? She's covered in stitches and
crazy.
Like replaced parts. She's got like different eye scars and like stitches all over herself.
She just got attacked by what's his name? Dragos. Like she in the first comic, she had stolen the MacGuffin and he like attacked the hell out of her. So she is recently scarred up. It's pretty pretty gross, pretty gnarly.
She looks like a more realistic Sally from like Nightmare Before Christmas, but with like
that's not a thought I want to have, dude. That's gross.
It's nasty.
Like a not fun version of that. Yeah.
And also to add, she's got this crazy like dildo attachment, which is like alien tech-ish, I think.
Yeah. It's It's a lot. I think I was doing research for this comic, and I think I was in a coffee shop or something, and I was like, we'll just skip to issue 4.
I could not read this in public. I was like, nobody can see this. Like, this is not a good look. And then it's a crossover episode because Halfpipe is called in to perform oral sex on Tommy, so he doesn't, quote, come while Pizzolo is doing her business. Suffice it to say, this is where this comic kind of lost me and never really brought me back. This scene is one of those that kind of exists only for shock value. It's gratuitous and just shows how dark and edgy this world is. The next few pages are mainly really to give more like exposition dump. Pizzolo offloads some backstory about how she fought Dragos, and that's why she's all fucked up. And she also talks a bunch about how clean Tommy's blood is.
Yeah, they love it. Everybody loves his blood.
And then she brutally assaults him, and there's like a strategic scene cut, kind of. But it doesn't really leave much to the imagination, but it's enough to make it worse, honestly. She could have just been drinking his blood, but it's so sexualized that the distinction doesn't even really matter. They're both
also, Tommy does not like he doesn't this has no effect on him. Like it happens, nothing else like this happens in the rest of the entire fucking run. It's never fucking referenced again. It's just like a really intense fucked up scene that has no bearing on the rest of the comic. Like he's fine. Like he's chilling, dude. Like he's just whatever. He goes and he fucking escapes through an air vent, whatever. It's like it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, there's a lot of escaping through air vents in this book, especially the first 3 issues, I'm realizing. But he escapes through an air vent, which is, it's not just shown, but Halfpipe also explains it in the immediate next panel when she's introducing him to like Mulciber. She just
went through the air vent.
So I was gonna kill him, so I left him a path and I opened up the air shaft for him to escape through. But Halfpipe explains this as she introduces Tommy to Mulciber. Mulciber gains Tommy's trust by reciting scripture from the burnt, and he takes off his goggles to reveal that he has his own like burn scar across his eye. So this like arcane order that he's a part of is the Burnt from comics and from history. And Mulciber does the old everything they taught you is a lie thing, and all the legends are true. And he explains that the MacGuffin box is actually the Nibiru box, which serves as like this interdimensional space transmitter thing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hold up, let me get some throat real quick. And then Tommy goes, freaks out after watching. He's like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? Because like they're just talking. They're literally just talking, and then like he's taking a smoke break. Mulciber's just like, wait 1 second, and then Halfpipe starts kneeling down, and then Tommy's like, what the fuck? And then Halfpipe's just, stop being a little pussy, Tommy. Like, why are you being such a bitch about this? And Mulciber's just standing there, just straight Kevin James shrug memeing. So like Tommy storms off, doing the literal fucking Arthur fist meme at the end of the last panel of that is just like Halfpipe kneeling down and then Tommy with his clenched fist.
It's insane.
So,
Mulciber's line here, I'm sorry, Tommy. I misjudged your understanding. It is unfortunate that my abilities are reliant on ... these methods. Like, just my fucked up.
I thought you were cool,
oh,
Tommy.
God. Yeah.
I thought you were super cool. I thought you were cool. Are you?
Sorry,
not cool,
I thought you were down.
You don't want to see me get blown.
Sorry. He's trying to see the
future.
But
Mulciber's divining dick reveals that Tommy is looking for a heart, which he also could have just told him. And then somehow it's connected to finding the Nibiru box, and also supposedly the heart they need, quote unquote, belongs to the son of Starkiller. Then Mulciber, like everybody, wants a sip of Tommy the Blood Bag, and Tommy again freaks out justifiably, but eventually is just like, fuck it, like, we're here now, like, take a taste. And Mulciber's like blood powers, apparently they can, tasting the blood, at least the Burnt are able to trace their dragon lines, which is their like lineage or their legacy or whatever. And then surprise, surprise, Tommy is related to Starkiller himself. This revelation is interrupted when they find out. Yeah, the flashback is cool. They flashback to fucking Starkiller fucking Tommy's mom in some alley. But like we see,
what did you see?
We see like the Starkiller and like the forces like mobilizing. He's got this sick ass fucking sword. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then we also have we see like Baphomet, which is the demon alien lady who's just like the Baphomet of like lore or whatever. She's just goat head, big titty lady. But yeah, they're interrupted when they find out that Pizzolo had like implanted him with like a tracking ring. That so they do a raid on their like hideout or whatever. And they fight, and Pizzolo's forces overpower them. She's about to kill Halfpipe, but Tommy like busts in and he begs her not to, promising to find the Nibiru box for her. Mulciber and Pizzolo have this weird ass like exchange, talking about how like, yeah, we both tasted Tommy's blood. We know that this is like his destiny.
It's fucking awesome,
right? Yeah, and then so Pizzolo shoots Tommy with this.
No, sorry.
Go ahead.
Is she just dressed as a priest in this scene for no reason?
Yeah. Also, this is another point where like the art is a little inconsistent. So like I thought this was a different person just because of like the way that it's colored. But yeah, no, it's just her. It looks like it looks like she has a priest collar and a fucking cross on her.
Why?
Chest,
Why?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, so she shoots Tommy with this like gun that like has like slug eggs in it, right? And that will hatch larva in a week, which gives it gives a plot like a little ticking clock, right? So Pizzolo fucks off, but not before slicing Halfpipe across the face as a kind of a callback to the first issue where Angel Fuck and Halfpipe were talking about how she's lucky that Pizzolo didn't cut her in the face.
Yeah.
And issue 3 ends with Mulciber, Tommy, and Halfpipe. Their mission, right? Find the Nibiru box and a deadline. And then the last page of this is another white text over black page stinger. Everything is permissible. Rounding out the whole Nietzsche quote that most people probably recognize just from Assassin's Creed more than anything.
Hey, whatever gets you there. I think this 1 week timeline before these like evil eggs hatch inside of Tommy is about 10 years. Like I think he might still have those fucking those eggs in his blood. You know what I just realized? These covers they are by Ben Templesmith. He's the guy that did 30 Days of Night. He's been doing the covers for all these.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's got like a little watercolor thing going on. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Cool.
They're fine. They're fine. I think he gets better. I think his covers for 30 Days are way better. All right. Issue 4. From here on out, comics get even tighter. About 20 odd pages an issue. Scene begins opening up shortly after we left our heroes with the ever-suffering Tommy waking up to find a blue-haired punk doctor standing over him with a 7-inch needle. The doctor is telling him to relax. Thankfully, the worst is over. The needle is just painkillers. However, Tommy, still an aspiring blowjob Jedi, refuses the painkillers because he doesn't believe in them. Mulciber, standing nearby, approves. After the big showdown, Tommy now has little metal finger splints, as well as Ethan, a Phantom of the Opera faceplate that the artist will inexplicably forget to keep drawing shortly thereafter. Am I wrong about this? It's like just in the next 3 panels.
That's the thing. Yeah, because like all like throughout everybody's got like some of these like cybernetic implants, like alien technology things, but then it's like they drop it and then it's like not, and then they don't really address it anymore. I think the one that gets addressed the most is Half Pipe later on. We'll talk about, but
yeah. She's worried about the facial scars, so by the logic of the comic, she's going to a tattoo parlor. More on that later.
Yeah.
Just talking about just quitting drawing the thing on his face. I always think about this. The first time I ever thought about what it would be like to draw a comic, I'll never forget this. When I was very young, I was reading Naruto, and it was like a special edition one. It was like the very first one, and the artist was talking about how he was so excited when Naruto became a ninja, because he used to have those goggles on, but then after that he got the headband, right, with the little leaf ninja thing on it, and he was like, I was so sick of drawing those goggles, there's way too many details. I was so glad that he finally became a ninja. And I guess same with her.
Exactly. All artists hate drawing tattoos and like patterned clothing, because it always has to look the same, but it's all you have to draw from every single fucking angle, which must be a fucking headache.
Yeah, well, she put her foot down. All right. Mulciber finally has Tommy alone, minus a blue-haired doctor, so he immediately begins to satisfy his second most pressing concern, pretending to be Obi-Wan. He gets Tommy up to speed on the spider egg situation. We get a little bit of a lore drop that the Republic can monitor people through their right eye, which gives Tommy a bit of credit for his hot iron shenanigans from when we first saw him. The doctor also tells Tommy he could easily replace his sister's heart, but she would have to be there for a custom fitting, a plot thread that is, to the best of my knowledge, still dangling this many years on. T&M take a walk. Mulciber gets into a, "You squishy-ass homeschool boy couldn't last 3 minutes in the outer cities. You will be my pupil in this fucked up world." He's getting right into the... It does feel very Star Wars, right? Like he is just going straight to you're my protege. He starts going on about how the space between atoms, you can like use your will to control them. And he then also turns invisible right after that, which does lend him some credibility. Yeah, class dismissed. This all wraps up outside a dingy punk bar, which in Matt's dark, twisted mind is just a regular bar. Our boys are on the hunt for the final member of our unfortunate polycule, an esteemed assassin who goes by the name of Soledad. They find the assassin very easily, but she starts talking rates, and Mulciber immediately pulls a sexism. It's like 2 whole pages of her being like, I'm the assassin. And he goes, I don't think you understood. Like, I don't think you understood what I meant.
You're just a little girl.
Sorry, I wasted your time.
But you're a girl.
The cops show up. So the cops show up at the end of the conversation and they say, hey, we have to arrest that girl for 17 counts of political assassination. Mulciber is flabbergasted. They set up this face-off where the cops are there, guns drawn, and then everybody starts having long conversations. And like, did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like everybody's ready, and then all this fucking dialogue. Half Pipe comes back. What does she look like now, Ethan?
She looks kind of. This is very like Shibuya punk. Like
It's like a kabuki mask. She looks kind of like a kabuki mask.
Yeah, she got like these pink. Because these are like cybernetic augmentations too. Her eyes are pink now too. She's got.
I didn't even notice.
She's got the fucking. What kind of haircut is this? Like the bob with like the long front like side bang thingies going on.
Yeah.
Like the wolf cut or whatever.
She's got the Catwoman suit with the fucking unzip down to her tummy.
Yeah.
Man,
everybody's got huge tits in this.
Oh yeah, to a person. Yeah, more on that in that last comic or the last issue. So yeah, she got a makeover. Very strange. At this point, the cops have just been letting them talk for like 5 minutes. Soledad doubles down by throwing Tommy her gun and offering a discount for the job if he starts shooting. Tommy is nowhere near this spot in his arc. So, out the back door in a blaze of gunfire. Forgot to mention this earlier. When they first walked into the bar, an amp nearly fell over, which is an insane thing that an amp would just fall down by itself. That's crazy. You fucking kill somebody. But Tommy like pushes it back up, and Mulciber is like, "Hey, don't fucking talk to anybody." So the band was like, "Oh, you're so cool," and they escape out the back door, and the band's like, "Quick! Get in the van!" So they're off with the punk rockers. A life for an amp. Their escape is complete. We start issue 5 back. A pulled back scene of the van driving through an absolutely wrecked city. This is one of those panels where the photo collage works really well. It's like an AI image in that the sizes are jumbled, individual elements are difficult to process, but it's still, there's effort behind it. Like she took the time. I think it's got like a dada element to it, a little bit of dadaism here.
Yeah.
And it looks good. And I think pretty soon after this, she'll kind of stop with these two kind of full scenes. Do you feel like there's maybe a bit of a change? I think we're about that point in the comic. Notice like there's less pencil work. It's more like she's using a digital stylus tool more.
Yeah, for sure.
A
lot more of like the digital coloring too, in terms of like the textures and like the highlights and the way that like she renders in like some of like the skin tones and like the lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I figure she was just sending in pages, and I guess their vibe is just like, well, fuck it, like we're just gonna put it out. I'm not gonna tell you how to do your job, like it's just finishing page by page, however she wants to. Cut to the interior. The band is staring down our quadro, and Soledad lets loose a Marvel-worthy awkward. Dialogue is not always good. The band is kind of a throwaway character group. As always, it's the writer's prerogative to throw in anything he thinks is cool. So they're headed to their next gig in Old Andreas, and they are going to drop off our heroes en route. En route to where? Time to consult the Spooge Sage. Unfortunately, he already had enough info from the last time Halfpipe consulted the orbs. So no fun returning bit where they're all in the van together and he's like, come on, guys, be cool. I got to look at the future. I think one more would have been funny. Going off the images he remembers, they are looking for a place with walls, barbed wires, and vats of human flesh. Must be the fabled underground tunnel system under the largest of the former Holocaust camps built during the Silent War. The former home of Baphomet, knows only as Guernica. Like, duh. Why didn't I think of that? Obviously.
Everybody know. Everybody know.
Oh, we should have been the fucking first place we looked. They banter a little bit. Soledad is basically just the Han Solo of the group. She's here for loot, babes, and quote, Star Killer artifacts. A much more honest Tinder bio for Ethan if he ever finds himself back on Bumble.
Hell yeah.
There's a bit of foreshadowing where Tommy tries to put the old man's advice to good use while everyone else is sleeping. He's up grinding, trying to turn invisible. Soledad roasts his ass.
It looks like he's trying to shit his pants.
He's literally
That's
sitting
what it
there
looks like. It
with
looks
his
like he's
knees
shitting
tucked
in his
together.
Oh, I'm trying to turn invisible.
Mulciber lets him know that once he gets invisibility down, he'll even be able to walk through walls. Level 3 is talking teenage prostitutes and believing you need their specific brand of help to save the universe, presumably. We'll get there. We arrive at the fence. I think maybe we spend a little too much time here. The band fucks off. Society has collapsed, but the need for rock is eternal. They've got a show to get to, I guess. Like one right after the other.
Hell yeah.
Electric fencers are Mulciber's kryptonite. He goes, why don't you fucking walk through these walls? And he goes, actually, electric fences are a completely different principle. I could walk through it. Unfortunately, they're electric. Okay, yeah. He and Soledad are as far as trying to spit on it when we switched focus to the other duo. That's how they're trying to get past the fence right now. Tommy talks to Halfpipe for 6 entire pages. Probably the most eventful moment of his young life. Not too easy to get through as a reader. These are not the best examples of dialogue. He basically just gasses up Halfpipe, finally gives her the precious confidence to remember some hooker rumors. There's an outpost. Oh, well, yeah, we used to go to I had a friend who used to go to the death camp and talk to the soldiers. Let's go through the outpost. They find a trapdoor, some more loose plot threads here where there's something about like they're keeping registers of everybody's blood type or something. They find a trapdoor, bada bing, bada boom. We are in.
Also, I will say, like, in these few pages where they're having, like, this discussion, like, the art is all over the place. The character models, and even the style is, like... Because before they would do this for, like, maybe, like, big, like, character reveals and stuff like
or
that.
Flashbacks
but
or something.
Kind of all... Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. But, like, I mean, that's the thing is, like... Individual panels and stuff I like, but like
they all look good,
as a whole, it's just a little inconsistent.
Just get used to it.
But I guess it kind of fits in like the kind of like weirdly psychedelic world that this is in.
Yeah, it's a real drawer. It's a real trapdoor. Like just crazy details. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about the scopes thing? I thought that was kind of cool. Tommy's always saying scopes, and we finally get an explanation for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is
cool.
what is that?
Like I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, I know exactly how this feels to like write something, and then you're just like, oh, this is such a cool little detail, and then like you read it, it's just like, okay, like,
yeah,
interesting.
Mulciber explains that it's just like a bit of slang. Nobody like people just say it to say it, but it's from the Scopes monkey trial. Yeah, so for some reason that's extended to the present day. So everybody enters the evil reptilian tunnels. We're getting to the climax here. As highly as I've spoken of the DIY mixed media background stuff, there are limits to everything. All right, that panel right there. Go back. That one. That top one.
This one looks like a fucking... It looks like, what are those, like, point-and-click adventure game, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
where it's just, like, you
hidden
where you just click on a thing. Yeah. I like it better when it's, like it's either all collage or if it's just like the background collage. This is like a little bit too much just collage and then sketched shadows of of their backs as they walk in.
Yeah, it's also just blown up way too fucking big. It's at its limit, dude. It's like a big belly's behind that photo. It's about at its limit.
Yeah.
Back to the tunnels. Okay, this is where I kind of lost me on the same scenes as we talked about earlier. But this kind of put me over the edge. We get a cameo from the pay the toll to cross the river guy. Only he's got stitches and chin piercing. He's all blue flames and skulls. He takes some of Mulciber's blood and starts to lead him away. The genre mixing is fine, but this is like too much. This world is a little bit science and a little bit magic, but now we have a Greek mythology guy chilling in the death tunnels. Like, where does he fall in to this world except just as something to get Mulciber away from the group, you know?
I will say his design is really cool and like
he
looks like
cool.
a fucking Hot Topic cashier D&D wizard, which is dope. Like he's covered in skulls and stuff, and I really like the panels where she draws him and then she puts like this like blue flame aura around him. It's like really, really cool.
He's doing some blood bending that actually looks pretty cool. The bright blue on that. Speaking of getting people to get separated from the group, next page, two-headed demon dog, also with stitches, don't worry, shows up and Soledad chases off to get that sweet, sweet bounty. Tommy's last line for the issue is a cheeky little, not sure if it was a good idea to get separated from the wizard or bounty hunter. Oh boy, wasn't it. All right. Getting to issue 6, coming up to the big standoff. Mulciber gets led by the D&D guy to the doors of the throne room. The room is all curtains, spiraling mosaics, big bad goo monster and mask, and sad-looking white girls with big old titties. There's a lot of them. There's like 24 of them just chilling in this big-ass fucking stone room. Right. In the center of all this curated content sits Dragos pouting because he can't get the God box to work. I think our artist does enjoy drawing this guy. I'm feeling like a little bit of like early yaoi like inspiration here. Like she do be getting into these designs.
He looks
apparently
he looks like fucking Lestat from Interview with a Vampire mixed with like the Crow. Like, and he's got the Joker smile thing because his mouth opens and the big, like, reptile fucking thing.
Couple piercings.
Very, very Crow-coded, for sure.
Yeah. So, he can't get the box to work. I think this scene was pretty cool. I think he actually writes some pretty nice dialogue when he works the plot up to, like, high-risk moments. There's a face-off where Mulciber and Dragos trade wizard tricks to see whether Mulciber will kneel or not. Eventually overpowered, the Big M still refuses to explain to him how to use the box. He knows that Mulciber will never submit to him, so obviously he's got to get out the Fury's Blade, a bit of lore that thankfully we're all familiar with already. The glowing white sword that separates your soul from your body and casts your soul to suffer among the Furies. Remember that?
Of course. Yeah.
Also,
who doesn't
if you
know
think
about
it,
Blade?
Yeah, the Fury Blade. Yeah. Like, wouldn't any sword separate your soul from your body? Isn't that like what swords are for?
But not magically. No, only literally.
You wouldn't be with the Furies. We'll never know if Mulciber was appropriately scared of this threat because Tommy and Halfpipe just kind of stroll into the middle of the situation. Halfpipe yelling, "Oh no!" to maintain their element of surprise.
Yeah.
Back on Naruto, you know, when he never gets to drop on anyone because he's always like, "Here I am, the best ninja." That's Halfpipe right now. Next scene, also a bit much more kick the dog stuff, except beat to death instead of kick, and one of these random ladies instead of dog.
Yeah.
It's to teach. Yeah, dude, this goes on too long. It's to teach. Oh yeah, I'm not even talking about that panel right there. I intentionally left that out. We're not getting into that. is to teach Tommy a lesson in power or something. What is really meant to do is to introduce the zombie pit, where, quote, 1 in every 1,000 of these ladies who he apparently beats up or beats to death all the time. He says, 1 in every 1,000 just won't die no matter what I do, and I throw them into the pit. There's already like 24 of these women down here, so you can do the math there. Society may have collapsed, but big-boobed Caucasians are finally having their moment, I guess. They're all that's left. A little more sexualized violence, and it's a sweet sayonara to the sorcerer of the suck. He gets the old Fury Blade, so his soul is off to hang with the Furies. Concept we are all familiar with, and we wouldn't wish on our worst enemy. Next goes in the God Box, a little more monologuing, and then our remaining heroes. Finally, he throws in the torch for dramatic tension. For our final panel of issue 6, we've got zombie ladies. She must enjoy drawing them too, because they're actually rendered pretty spookily in like a scratchy black and red pencil. Yeah, actually this whole last issue has been all over the place. We talked about it before.
I like it though. I like this is probably one of my favorite issues for the art in general. Just the character designs and the action are really cool. Like even the scene where he stabs through Mulciber and like the sword is like glowing like digitally, but it looks cool. Like I fuck with it.
Yeah. No, this one looks really good. I feel like this one is a good use of the mixed media there. I basically just did bullet points for this last one. This is we've had our like finale, and I guess this is I guess there's a little bit more finale. They wake up in the pit. The very first couple panels. Oh no, Mulciber, poor Dr. He's been a doctor? I guess he's a doctor. Poor Dr. Mulciber. Yeah. His bones, they ate him. And now we just have this like gnarly rib cage, also looking like from a point and click adventure. Mulciber is just dead. These women have eaten him. Pretty tense scene. I feel like the drama here. What's the line? What does he say? You can't fight them off with his bones. It's horrible. Stop being such a pussy. So they're beating off the zombie woman with Mulciber's bones within 30 seconds of getting drawn down here. The zombies are scared of the fire, so they're kind of getting backed up into a corner. Half-Pipe does get dragged away, and she gets eaten pretty bad, so Half-Pipe is about a quarter pipe now. She's like, oh, wake up. They go to a big bronze door, and they don't know what to do. He sets, I gotta strip a little bit here. He sets their clothes on fire, and that's kind of keeping them off. They're trying to get to the other side of the door, so this is his turn off your targeting system, Luke moment, where he's going to have to phase through the door, right? He has to take off. Yeah, we're gonna skip that entire thing or whatever. He's got this inhibitor ring that was plot related. It kept the Empire or whatever from tracking him. He uses his special powers to go through the door, and she's like screaming at him, and he gets so distracted and stressed that he unlocks the door, and before he can take his hand out, he loses focus, and if you lose focus, you're just back in the door, so his entire fucking arm just gets chopped off.
I do like when like either like teleportation powers or like phasing powers work like that. You know what I mean? When, if you get stuck, you're fucked. You like your arm actually could like comes off or something. Like I think that's cool.
Yeah. No one ever takes them seriously. I think that's like a thing. Like there's like all those comics where Nightcrawler's like, no, like I can't do that. I could just get like stuck inside of a tree, and they're like, Nightcrawler, you have to do this. I believe in you. And we never get the one where he's just like actually stuck in a tree, just like, oh god, fuck. Terrifying. So they're pushing the door shut because they did get to the other side. She's recovered from her biting. He is not recovered from his arm getting ripped off. And then Soledad shows up, and she's kind of being a bitch, dude. She's got the She fucked off to kill this dog. She's got the dog's head. She's rolling her eyes, goes in there with 2 guns and kills all these zombies very quickly.
This is the exact same thing that happened in our D&D campaign when I like accidentally flew out of the dungeon and passed everybody, and then everybody came back and they were all fucked up, and I was just waiting outside. I was just like, "Where have you guys been? What are you guys doing?"
That's good. So they do get outside, and there's a bunch of helicopters waiting for them because when Tommy took his ring off, now the guys in the sky can find him. So they gas him, and then we go straight back to a like therapist like room. It's a new guy.
Is he a little older
still
now?
Dead. Is he what? Yeah, he does look. I mean, is his hair longer?
Yeah.
No.
I don't
This
know.
is
it might just
okay.
be the art, but he does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a time skip,
Well,
right?
Ethan, it's got to be less than a week. Otherwise, he's got these fucking spiders in his fucking blood.
Yeah. Sure.
So yeah, this is the next day. They literally do the Always Sunny thing. It's like the next day, and I guess they put yesterday's newspaper in front of his room. And he was like, "Oh, I guess it was all a dream. That's crazy." He goes to check on his sister, and he cuts his hand on the bed, same as at the first comic, and he's like, "Wait a minute. I can't feel my finger. There's no sensation in my arm. Wait a minute. I've got a metal hand." It wasn't a dream. And that is a very odd way to end a very odd comic. That was Godkiller. All right, final thoughts.
So that wraps up like the main like recap of the thing. Do you wanna talk the movie?
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you end up watching it?
Yeah, I did. And yeah, like you said, it's literally just the comic, but slightly more movement from the floating PNGs.
Yeah.
The voiceover's cool.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Good. Like,
good
the
voice
music
acting.
really helps set the tone.
Tommy
Yeah,
kind of fucking sucks
absolutely.
though.
It's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
He's the weakest part.
The fucking the like it's interesting because like this was also a time when I guess I'll take this moment too to talk a little bit more about like Pizzolo's like kind of like ambitions in terms of like the multimedia space. Like this whole like motion comic thing, I think this was kind of like the height of this thing that kind of like came and went. You don't really see the whole like motion comic thing that much anymore. Like the biggest one I can think of is probably like the ones that released with Hellboy, which were really good, where they had the whole like cast from the movie. I remember on the special features of like the DVDs they had that. But this one is basically that. It's word for word, bar for bar the entire comic with the same art, just kind of having the characters move and wiggle a little bit. There's no like voice, like there's no like lip syncing or anything. It's just, but like it's cool. I think it works. Like you could do either watch the movie or read the comic, and you'll get pretty much the same out of both. But I think it's a really cool.
I think it informs
like,
the comic
together.
Like it makes the comic make more sense because it wasn't like these things were done simultaneously. I think he says that in an interview. I think he was getting like she was working on it, and then he had this idea, and I think that informed how the comic was like made. Like there's for sure. There's like neat little visual effects that like are just like a splash page, but they actually do like a little bit of like 3D like cool swirls and stuff that, you know, they freeze it obviously for the comic, but you can once you've seen both, you go, oh, okay, like they put that in there because they wanted to do a special effect.
Yeah, it's cool too because like in one of the interviews too, like talking about how like Pizzolo really wanted to like cross over, like talk about the whole like multimedia shtick of his, is like the whole like bringing comics and like film together. He talks a lot about wanting to do like motion comics for like almost everything and like put them up on YouTube. Like this is like early 2010s, late aughts and stuff. He's like really into this whole like idea of like bringing in like new tech to kind of like bump up comics. And I think he really had like he saw something, because like now I mean obviously we see a lot more like comic book animation and stuff like that. This is the height of like Marvel Studio shit like being big. And like he even had this whole like he wanted to create this platform, I think it was called Buzzworlds, where people would kind of, it was like this like crowdsourced world building creator owned thing that I don't think really went anywhere. I couldn't find anything about it past when he started talking about it in a lot of these initial interviews. But like he really does have this like multimedia like sensibility, and I think like for as much ambition as he has, like the amount of success in like other areas that like he was able to follow up on, I think is admirable for sure. But so yeah, you want to just final thoughts about this first arc, Walk Among Us. What did you think in general?
I'd say first and foremost, I would view this comic as an experiment that just kept on trucking. For that, I'm grading it on a massive curve. I think this story, the first nuke goes off in New York City, but I do think that it's in California, because they're going to Old Andreas or something like that, right? So
yeah,
I did enjoy this romp through California's hellish punk techno occult wasteland. I think my main issue with the comic just comes from the fact you really do need that many adjectives just to get an idea of what's going on.
True.
The comic is like Fortnite if all of the skins from various IPs were different genres. They are indeed all present here. I'm just not quite sure why. It's post-apocalyptic, anti-fascist, supernatural, alien, conspiratorial, allegorical fantasy, body horror gumbo. It made me think about how easy someone like Mignola makes it look when he writes Hellboy. For a series like this, the low pixel collages, rough pencils, and overall vibe sucked me right in. If I had to say what kept it from crossing the line into something that I loved, I think Hellboy is a great comparison. For all the genre switching and how much that series finds itself, the time that the series takes to find itself over the years, it was always the characters who held the center strong for decades. Anything could happen in this world, of the world of Hellboy, but the plot always rubber banded back to this collection of really sweet and tragic oddballs who spoke in beautifully understated dialogue. So my lukewarm take, blending all that world building into a coherent world is impressive as it stands, but Matt was still learning to create characters who would help us feel their reactions to this crazy world that they lived in. The world of Young Terrorist and Cal Exit are also big conceptual swings, but he most definitely learns how to ground those stories in young, angry, chronically 3 steps behind protagonists, and I'd highly recommend them. I would recommend this to if you a freak.
Yeah, hard to agree on all of that stuff. Like, if it wasn't apparent already, I'm not a huge fan of this. Or I should say I'm a fan in theory, but the comic itself leaves a lot to be desired. I appreciate it a lot more, like, in context, like, as an experiment, like you said, than I do as a comic by itself, which is the case for most of what we've covered. But this one, it's ambitious, and I for real respect the creative team a lot for the DIY nature of all of this. And you always criticize the things that you want to like more than the things that you know you're gonna hate anyways. And so anything critical I have to say has more to do with like my own personal taste and expectations than like the thing itself. At its core, I think this book has some really cool ideas, and the art definitely grew on me, but it's still a little too bleak and like edgelordy in a tone that isn't balanced out enough by like more interesting themes and story. Judging it by its own merits, I think it's pretty successful as an entry into the industry, in the same way that, like I said, like Battle Pope is. Like, in that it might be one of the weaker early works of a creator who has definitely grown. Like, you got to respect it for the big swing that it is. And I'll second Isaac's your shout out to like his other comics, so it definitely find like a better balance between the two things. I think something a little more grounded suits Pizzolo's like writing, because he does have a lot to say. And I think this story, like Godkiller and the universe itself, it's a lot harder to tackle these things if you're also trying to pull in all of this big lore stuff. But I respect the effort for sure. And like all of that being said, Pizzolo, I love and respect you, and please give me a job at Black Mass, because I think the company's pretty fucking sick.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like after this, like Godkiller goes on to be this like dimension hopping like magical epic. At least I think it does, from like reading some of the like summaries and things. But I stopped reading after the first 2 arcs, but I might run it back once it finishes, just to get like the full picture. Do you like know much more about like, because I read this is Walk Among Us. I read Tomorrow's Ashes, which picks up right at the end of this, but from what it looks like as it goes, it gets crazier and crazier.
I think there's like the art definitely takes a slump in the middle. The variant covers, everybody just wants to fucking draw a half pipe, and some of them actually are like pretty fucking sick images, but it is they're basically like pinups. I think the cool thing about Black Mask is that because of the success that they've had, they do collect all this stuff in some like pretty cool looking hardcover edition. So yeah, like you said, once that last one comes out, I'll definitely eventually swing and get the full story. I think there's also an audiobook that comes with it. Like, yeah, I don't think it's a huge priority for them. They're just, they're just clocking away at it. Maybe coming next year, we'll see. Maybe coming in the next 2 weeks, really cool. We'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, like I fuck with like they do really. It seems like Pizzolo does still really care about like Godkiller and like this stuff.
Yeah, he wants to finish. I think
it's crazy that like for a decade, man. Like, and I respect that. And like, yeah, the hardcover is like really cool. I think I would like pick these up like to own, just because like the art is cool, like it's interesting. Maybe the story's a little weaker, but I think just like the aesthetic and like everything behind it it's a cool piece. And so I do want to talk.
We're saying all that now, but also in like the 3rd arc or something like that. So Tommy gets fucking stuck in that hospital for fucking ages, and there's this weird power struggle, him trying to get out. He's still got the fucking spiders in his blood. Soledad and Halfpipe go off on their like mini quest trying to like save Tommy, and there's some fucking awful dialogue where it's like Soledad is like Halfpipe is like going up like the fucking like she's like climbing up a ladder, and Soledad is under her, and she's like everyone is always holding their intestines in, and she's always just like, oh man, I just got like super fucked up. I'm like I'm about to piss or something like that, and Soledad is literally like the line from fucking like Righteous Gemstone. She just like, save that piss for my face, or like it's just fucking awful.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the thing. Like with this whole thing, like I don't know, like it takes itself too seriously sometimes for me to like appreciate some of like the lighter moments, no matter how like kind of like gratuitous, like exploitative, like it's going for the like grindhouse tone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I feel like there's a little bit too much like actual world building and stuff that they have to get through to get there. And I think this first arc for sure is all of that setup, but then it does just keep getting crazier and crazier. And like it's definitely a weird fucking series. But I do want to talk about like Black Mask Studios now, in a section I like to call Comics Gone Woke. I didn't realize how many times I'd cross paths with Black Mask until like really digging into like the research for this one. College me thought Cal Exit was like the dopest dope to ever smoke when it came out. Like as like a California native and like somebody who was like in college during this time, like I fucked with this heavy. Cal Exit is about an alternate history of, or an alternate reality present of, if California seceded after a Trump allegory character is elected. So this came out like 2016, 2017. And then I also bought like the first volume of Space Riders, completely blind, just off the cover.
Oh,
when that
dude.
came out. And that is
Dude.
that so sick.
Yeah.
So sick. It's
Yeah.
psychedelic space fantasy epic, very super dope. Has this like retro,
the whole comic looks like the cover
sci-fi
too.
vibe. So good.
Oh, that
so
looks amazing.
Good. And then looking into the company more, I realized how much talent Pizzolo's like cultivated over at Black Mask. I'm a really big fan of Matthew Rosenberg. He's been doing some really cool stuff with Image. I like his We Can Never Go Home. He also did What's the Furthest Place from Here, which was one of my favorites. I was following for a while. Vita Ayala, who's also done some really big stuff for like the big two. Teenie Howard, also really cool. And they've all gone on to do some really big things. Like in an interview with like the Sci-Fi Channel, Rosenberg was talking about how Black Mask really practices what it preaches in terms of like representation and like tackling big issues. And one of the biggest things Black Mask got attention for was it was during the Occupy movement when they were first getting started, and they released this collection/anthology miniseries called Occupy Comics that dedicated all of their profits to like the Occupy initiatives and stuff like that. And it featured works from like Art Spiegelman, who did Mouse, that like classic, super critically acclaimed story of like his father during Nazi Germany as like a Jewish person. And then also had an essay series from Alan Moore, and that Alan Moore's essay I really recommend for its like breakdown of like kind of like the semiotics and the evolution of like social themes in comics. Like everything he says in that essay is everything I want to say at the beginning of every one of these episodes, especially when they're tackling like social issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like
almost makes
from
up for him
Occupy
being Alan
Comics
Moore.
yeah. From Occupy to like Cal Exit to like more recently Pizzolo's like community organization during the WGA strikes, Black Mask has been through a lot, and the people and seen like been around through a lot, and like done a lot of like work towards like the things that are happening, and the people behind it seem to step up and make stands in a very, very punk fashion.
He used
cool.
Cal Exit to promote like a candidate, right? Wasn't that was something that I was reading about? Yeah, I thought that was cool.
I forgot who it was, but yeah, no, like they really do. They put their money where their mouth is, and they're really about that shit, right? Like it's also worth noting that like as a reflection of the ever-present culture war, Black Mask serves in stark opposition to things like the whole like Comicsgate crowd, about that, like the whole they're the ones who cry affirmative action every time a creator or a character is like a Pantone darker than soy milk. Black Mask has been labeled woke as like a pejorative before, but I think the company really embodies like the original sense of the word in the best way. Books like Black and later on White tackle like racial tensions in a comic book world, and Black Mask's roster of creators is intentionally diverse, like we talked about before, like with their submissions page, really highlighting how like individual perspectives really inform like creator works and things like that.
So I read Black, and same thing for Young Terrorist. There's things in there that are like very, very of the moment, but like kind of like fucking evergreen. Like basically Black was like, what if like in the Zimmerman shooting, like the black guy found out that he had like superpowers. I don't know. Maybe like
superpowers.
Yeah. And then the Young Terrorist, like like the when they get to the border and there's that stuff with like ICE is like this like kind of like junky police force, you know. Very precedent.
Very super cool stuff. Like social commentary, but using the medium of comic books. And I think that's what they should be for. Like I think there is a place for that in comics for sure. Like especially outside of the mainstream stuff. And I think that's why it's important like to like really highlight like publishers like Black Mask, because like I mean even things like the recent Absolute Batman annual and stuff, it's been nice to see comic creators taking a stand against like bigotry and fascism, but it's also cool to find out that there's like an entire company that's like about that life. You know what I mean? Like Pizzolo seems to be spending most of his like efforts now like running the company and organizing for like various causes like voting access and stuff, but Black Mask and Godkiller are still going strong. And like there's like a Godkiller video game that is or like was in development at one point, and I think, is it Rosenberg's Four Kids Walk Into a Bank is getting a movie
with Liam
adaptation?
Neeson is what they have
Yeah,
put on the
Liam
press
Neeson
release.
is
So we'll
attached.
see. Yeah. Well, I think he's gonna be gonna be
Yeah.
like the old man. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So whether people are tapped into Black Mask already or not, like consider this like a push to check out this like independent company who is doing like some dope shit. That, like it is really cool to see like a truly independent company. Like,
to
doing
prove that it can be done. Like that's awesome. It's another like Ted
Exactly.
McKeever. Come on, man. Like come on.
Yeah, I think the thing with Ted McKee, we keep coming back to him, but it's like he was too close. Like he did get too spoiled. Like he got a taste of like the good life a little bit too much with the big two, and then once I mean, same thing with Alan Moore. You know, like once that was kind of like taken away from him, he was just like, well, fuck all of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you want to go into some like recommendations? Like most of stuff we've talked about already. Most of my stuff is like other Black Mask stuff. So if you like this, what else would you like?
Dude, I'm gonna read Space Riders like tonight. That looks so cool. That looks so good.
Space Rider is sick. Yeah, super sick.
I think so. I chose two to balance this out just because Godkiller is so lore, kind of not great dialogue, experimental, like craziness. So two things. One, just a classic Marvel comic. Get in there, have a good story. I personally feel so blessed to be like alive in this like Hulk age, man. Like I had never read a Hulk comic up until Immortal Hulk, and I got that run. Like I got a like a what do you call that? A pulp grindhouse body horror Hulk. Amazing.
Yeah.
I got that like Starbase Hulk, whatever that one in the middle was. I should be saying their names. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. The Donny Cates run that Ryan Otley ended up finishing.
And now, of course, we have the Philip Kennedy Johnson Incredible Hulk right now.
Yeah.
So to be alive where there's like a folklore fighting monsters based Hulk. It's getting near to the end now. We've moved over into the what is it? What's the new one? The evil Hulk, basically, whatever the hell it is now.
Infernal Hulk.
Yes, and there was some in the middle with those folklore stories where it was also like Hellboy. Like they have this like really fleshed out supernatural creature that he's fighting and kind of has to research. Super fun. This guy, we've talked about this a little bit. The guy who's writing it right now, he's not from Kentucky, but he's a little obsessed with it. He keeps putting like the sidekick was from Kentucky, and I thought that was cool. And then now the evil base is in Red River Gorge, and this guy has also done a alternate history militia comic about Kentucky. So I don't know what the hell this guy's deal is, but highly recommend the current Hulk run just for like some good fun. If you want to read something not supernatural at all, I've been reading The Voice Said Kill. That's C. Spurrier and Vanessa Del Rey.
Oh yeah, Cy Spurrier. Hell yeah.
Cy Spurrier. Yeah. And that one's just fucking great dialogue, really tense. Nothing spooky there besides how fucking crazy human beings are. Yeah, either one of those. Yeah, a really, really good time.
Right on. Yeah, for me, like most of the stuff I already name dropped, but like a lot of Black Mask stuff is really cool. Like you can go to their site; they have it broken down by creators, artists, everything like that. But 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, super dope. Like I thought that was really cool, kind of like a grounded like crime like it's that whole like fucking coming of age / like crime comic thing. Space Riders already talked about. I did also really like from them The Skeptics, which is this kind of like 50s 60s Cold War like psychic conspiracy thing. It's that whole like men who stare at goats, like they're trying to unlock psychic potential during the Cold War thing.
I saw
that was cool, written by Teenie Howard.
I saw I saw a preview of that somewhere. Yeah, no, I wanted to check that out. That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, also like a lot of Matthew Rosenberg stuff. I don't think he's doing this with Black Mask, but what's the furthest place from here I liked. And then also recently we're taking everyone down with us. I don't know why, but that gives me very Black Mask vibes as well. And then also just the Occupy comics and Cal Exit again. I think with Pizzolo, we already said, I think Young Terrace is really cool. He also did Rogue State, which was another kind of like resistance comic thing. And it actually has art with Chuck D from him and Flava Flav from Public Enemy.
Hell
Chuck
yes.
D does one of the covers for one of them, which is cool. Like, but yeah, like I think Black Mask in general is really cool, and it's definitely one of those like now it's like on my list. If I see some Black Mask shit, I'm gonna like check it out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Any one of theirs worth a shot. Anything else? We're all good here.
Yeah, I think to sign off.
Do you got it? I don't know if I have
If you
it.
push hard enough, you can you can.
You can turn invisible.
Like, yes.
You can do it. You can do it. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot.
If you just try.
Try it. Next time you're on the
Just
toilet.
push really, really hard. Maybe get a blowjob.
Yeah, stay sweaty. Oh yeah. This has been Tales from the Gutters. Until next time.